Hi everyone, this is John. We're back to our green program. Today I'm gonna go over lecture on a conclusion, okay? So I'm gonna talk about how to structure your conclusion. Remember, conclusion is the last part of your essay, right? Now we've gone through introduction, body, and now here we are at the conclusion. So today's to-do list, we're gonna define a concluding paragraph and see what it looks like at the end. So now we wrap up the essay, right? Let's find out what the conclusion look like after all. And we're also going to learn how to structure your own conclusion. So let's get it started again. All right, so what is a conclusion paragraph? It's a one paragraph. Remember, a paragraph consists of 5 to 8 sentences, right? Roughly speaking. Average, I would say 8 sentences, but it depending on your teacher or, Conclusions paragraph, it's the last paragraph of your essay or paper. And its the main purpose is to conclude your essay. Conclusion paragraph is one paragraph at the end of your essay that sums up everything you wrote about previously, right? Something that gives your readers more to think about. At the end of the conclusion, there's a part where you're going to showcase or let the readers know what happened, kind of give them a homework or food for thought. I'm going to go over that a little bit in detail in later slides here. Something that is convincing. One of the purposes for conclusion paragraph is so that you can convince the readers. Lastly, a paragraph that makes your readers want to read your essay again, right? So you want the readers want to read your essay again. Sorry about the typo here. What does a conclusion paragraph have? First, conclusion has the following sentences. First, a sentence that returns to the thesis. Remember, thesis is it's at the end of your introduction, right? Thesis, you have to have your thesis in the introduction. For your conclusion, make sure that there has to be a sentence that revisits your thesis, which you already stated in the introduction. It also summarizes sentences. Conclusion or concluding sentence, the purpose, of course, is concludes, right? The concludes everything you said in the paper. It acts as a summary sentences. So 3 sentences that summarize your body paragraphs. And also you need to have lastly a takeaway message. It's a one sentence, which is the last sentence of your conclusion, where you want to give your readers food for thought or a message that leaves the readers with something to think about. You can raise questions. It's more like what if questions, right? So more like a homework for your readers. Make sure when they're finished reading your essay or paper, they want to think about your essay and they want to do something about it. They can do their own research if they like. Where do I start from here? So let's take a look at this sample conclusion paragraph here. I'm going to read it aloud here. Out of the 10% of dogs who get adopted from shelters, 100% of these dogs have the opportunity to live happy and fulfilled lives. Families looking for dogs should not pick their dogs that are special, expensive breeds, but should rather look for dogs that need help. The loving relationships they have with their dogs will be important as they grow older and their dog becomes a member of the family. All in all, adopting dogs contributes to the health and well-being of dogs across the country. If you want to give a dog a 100% chance of happiness, find the closest dog shelter to you and schedule a visit. So we have a paragraph, presumably a conclusion paragraph, right? It, of course, containing a number of sentences. Let's dissect them. Let's break this paragraph into 3 parts. First part, sentence that returns your hook or thesis. We expect those sentences to be at the very beginning of this paragraph. Second part, summary sentences. Those should be somewhere in the middle of the paragraph. Lastly, takeaway message. 1 sentence or 2 sentences that will wrap up or give readers homework. They will usually be at the end of the conclusion paragraph. So first sentence is the hook or thesis. Remember, you have to restate, reword. You cannot just copy and paste the same thesis. When you're revisiting those theses and readapting, make sure you're restating. First sentence is the thesis. So out of 10% of dogs who get adopted from shelters, 100% of these dogs have the opportunity to live happy and fulfilled lives. After that, we have to have the summary sentences we sum in the bottom of the paragraph. Families looking for dogs should not pick their dogs that are special, expensive breeds, but should rather look for dogs that need help. The loving relationships they have with their dogs will be important as they grow older and their dog becomes a member of the family. All in all, adopting dogs contributes to the health and well-being of dogs across the country. Lastly, we have a last punchline, takeaway message at the end of your conclusion paragraph. If you want to give a 100% chance of happiness, find the closest dog shelter to you and schedule a visit. So that's the kind of punchline right there. So now we talked about conclusions paragraph. As I just mentioned, you need to have the three important key, sentences here. First, we have to restate the thesis. Then we have to summarize the sentences. And lastly, we have to give the readers a food for thought, like, sentences, takeaway message. So hope today's lecture on conclusion been productive. I will see you next time. Okay. Bye-bye.